Here we go.
Hello guys, I'm Comic Book Movie Film Productions, and welcome back to the DC Film Retrospective. Today's film takes the once goofy character of Batman to the dark side for the first time on the big screen in this fashion. Batman 1989. This film was in development for years, ever since Benjamin Milnicker, who I've discussed previously with the Swamp Thing films, how he got the rights to both Swamp Thing and Batman and wanted to make films based on those characters. The reason 2 Swamp Thing movies came out before another Batman film was due to nobody wanting to make another Batman film, or at least a dark one at least. Since Adam West's version of the character tainted the character for years, and no one took the idea seriously, it wasn't until the mid-80s when The Dark Knight Returns came out, and was the first true example of how to do Batman dark. So Warner Bros. Started to get interested in this new Batman film. Producer John Peters managed to get Tim Burton interested in the project, right after he made his big feature debut, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, and he worked on the film for years and didn't get the green light until after Beetlejuice came out. Speaking of, Michael Keaton, who started Beetlejuice, got casted, and many people, mostly Batman fans, wrote angry letters to the main producers and Warner Bros. About the casting, way before the internet age. But it was a rocky production. Tim Burton and John Peters constantly fought over creative control, from scenes being changed, Danny Elfman being the composer, Prince's songs being added in, etc. Plus, many actors were stressed during the production, mostly Keaton, and this was a big risk for the studio, due to not knowing if the audiences would take kindly to this new interpretation. Along with spending a lot of money getting Jack Nicholson in the role of Joker, who was hesitant at first, but after Warner Bros. Said that if he didn't take the role, they would give it to Robin Williams, which they used as bait, he agreed to take the role and reportedly got paid $60 million for the role alone, the second highest grossing salary for an actor in a single film behind Robert Downey Jr. But anyways, the film got made and released in the theaters in June 1989, where it became a massive hit at the box office, with they were seeing positive reviews, becoming the highest grossing film of that year domestically, and kickstarting a new franchise and a new era for DC films in the 90s, much like how Christopher Reeve's Superman films defined the 70s and 80s. But with the history out of the way, let's get into the plot. The film is set at Gotham City, where Playboy billionaire Bruce Wayne, played by Michael Keaton in this version, dresses up as a bat at night and takes out crooks for justice due to his parents when he was little getting mugged and killed right in front of him in an alleyway, but was left alive and now tries to clean up the streets of Gotham. But this is set as he's starting his superhero career, as most people think he's an urban legend or a rumor. He starts out scaring a couple of robbers and tells them to tell everyone about him as they run away. Shortly after, photojournalist Vicky Vale, played by Kim Basinger, comes to Gotham to team up with reporter Knox, played by Robert Wuhl, because they're the only ones who believe in Batman and try to find him. First, they get invited to one of Wayne's parties as he meets Vicky, and the two start to grow feelings for each other, and after going on a date at his mansion, they form a relationship. Meanwhile, a higher-up goon, Jack Napier, played by Jack Nicholson, who works for Carl Grissom, a mob boss played by Jack Palance, sets to Napier after he finds out he's sleeping with his girl. So they go to Ace Chemicals for a raid, but gets interacted with Commissioner Gordon, played by Pat Hingle, and some police officers show up and a massive shootout ensues. Batman arrives and starts being a bad guy and also saves Gordon's life from Napier as the two start to fight, but Batman outsmarts Jack as he gets dropped into a wad of chemicals, but doesn't get killed. Instead, his skin turns white, his hair turns green, he has a permanent grin on his face, and insanity is thrown out the window as he renames himself Joker, based on the cards he carried with him earlier in the film. His first order of business is killing Grissom for signing him up and taking his girl with him. Then he starts to take over the crime of Gotham as he plans to call it the Citizens. By first fearing them by putting toxic chemicals and beauty products, they give them the same grin he has as they laugh to death. Bruce tries to solve this case as he becomes distant from Vicky as she and Knox try to find out who he is. Gordon and the new DA Harvey Dent, played by Billy D. Williams, try to assure the city that they're going to catch whoever is doing this and try to set up the 200th anniversary for the Gotham Parade. Shortly after, Joker gets his army and starts raiding Gotham City, interrupting TV broadcasts with his messages, eventually stating that at the parade he will give away $20 million to the citizens. But what they don't know is that he's also going to release poisonous gas that will kill all of them. Vicky gets invited to a dinner at an art museum, which was set up by Joker as he and his goons invade. But Batman saves her and takes her to his Batcave, where his butler Alfred Pennyworth, played by Michael Gough, shows that Bruce is Batman to Vicky. Bruce finds out Joker's past mental health issues, and also it's revealed that the reason he tried to kill Joker in the first act is because he was the guy who shot his parents in the alleyway so many years ago. Batman goes to stop Joker's parade as he gives away the money, and starts to spread the gas from the big parade balloons, but Batman snatches them up in his Batwing and pulls them up into the clouds, as Joker shoots the Batwing as it crashes onto the ground. Joker takes Vicky to the cathedral where Batman crashed, thinking he's dead as they go up to the top, as Joker cuts off the bell, destroying the staircases so nobody can get up. But Batman already has gone up as he kills all of Joker's goons and then gets a rematch with Joker. with him almost winning, but Joker pulls the both of them down to the side of a tower as a helicopter comes to save them with his goons. At the last second, Batman uses his grappling hook to attach one of the gargoyle statues to Joker's ankle as he struggles to get up the ladder, and eventually, the gargoyle is too heavy for him as his arms give up and he falls to his death. The film ends with the day being saved and Vicky keeping Bruce's secret as he donates a bat signal to the Gotham police if they ever need him as credits roll. This film really was the first big reintroduction to Dark Batman and now is synonymous with the character. Although I'm not a big fan of Tim Burton's style, it mostly works for his adaptation, with it trying to keep the spirit of the goofiness of the concept, but also making it a lot more grim and quote-unquote realistic. But it still has fantastical elements to it. The acting is strong all around, from Jack Nicholson stealing the show and basically taking the movie away from Batman, which we'll get into later on. But Michael Keaton is still a pretty good hero as Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Now you want to get nuts? Come on, let's get nuts.
Even though I do prefer him as Vulture in Spider-Man Homecoming, but I digress. Kim Basinger is good as Vicky Vale and has good chemistry with Bruce Wayne without feeling like a damsel in distress most of the time, along with her partner Knox. Robert Wills funds his character, and my favorite performance from him, apart from his outstanding role as the construction worker in Good Burger.
Just give me 2 good burgers!
But seriously, he is good in this film. And pretty much everyone else is good. The action is fun and has a grand scale to it, not only from the direction, editing, and the amazing production design, but also the score that really amplifies every scene in this film. Danny Elfman's score for the film was not only one of the best in the comic book movie ever made, along with his work in the remake Spider-Man films later on, but also in the film in general. It captures the tone of the film to a T, and gives me goosebumps every time I hear it. The film also does a good job of taking what works from the comics, but also doing his own thing with Joker's connection to his parents, introducing new characters, etc. It mostly works for the film. It's one of those comic book films that does feel like a comic book leaped onto the screen. It's very reminiscent of Raimi's Spider-Man films, but a lot more serious in tone. And I'm not just saying that because of the Elfman connection, but also due to how grandiose they are, and it represented their time and how the comic book film industry was looked at. Plus, both have a mass parade sequence and pop songs thrown into the mix. Speaking of, Prince's songs that were incorporated provide an extra bit of flavor to the film and are used in the right moments. Also, as I mentioned earlier, the production design and effects all work from the sets, the makeup, the suits, the bat gadgets, the Batmobile. It all fits within this universe and is the icing on top of an already well-cooked cake. My biggest issue with the film that brings it down is that it does suffer from Tim Burton's major tonal issues. The film has some really goofy scenes with Joker zapping a dude to death and vandalizing art with paint while Prince plays, but can also get really dark with suicides, Prince's parents being killed, is very dark and murky setting, mass shootouts, and a lot more. Although as a whole it's consistent, there are parts where scenes like the ones I described above are placed side by side with comedic scenes. I just wish it was better placed. Another issue is how Batman is inconsistent with killing people. I'm not mad about him killing people, it's just that he doesn't kill anybody in the first act, but by the third act he's killing Joker's goons left and right. Along with that, the romance isn't developed that well, almost feeling rushed it seems like. Even though Michael Keaton and Kim Basinger have good scenes together, I wish it felt more natural and slower paced, especially as how the film can drag a little bit towards the end. Lastly, I feel like Bruce Wayne isn't given the spotlight that much in his own movie. He isn't given much development outside of his relationship with Vicky and Alfred. This is way more of a Joker film than a Batman film, which I wouldn't mind if this wasn't supposed to be the reintroduction to this character, and that the film is named after him. Overall, Batman 89 is a very fresh take on the character of the time. Even though looking at it now, it's definitely in the middle child between Adam West's Batman and Nolan's trilogy, it's still very entertaining. It has a very unique direction and style that works for the film, really solid acting all around, some of the best music in a superhero film to date, fun action, decent characters that you root for and are very well developed, decent characters that you root for and a very well developed villain, some really cool production design, and as a whole it's a very solid superhero film. One of my favorite Tim Burton movies, and a breath of fresh air after the streak of crap I reviewed in this retrospective as of recent. The only thing holding back is some inconsistencies from Batman killing to the tone as a whole, some underdeveloped aspects, along with the hero having less to do than the villain, but it's still a blast to watch and a standout amongst the Batman films, DC films, and comic book films in general. I give Batman 89 an A-, a 9 out of 10, and a must-watch recommendation. So that's Batman 89, what do you guys think about it? Leave your thoughts down in the comments and please make sure to like and subscribe for more content. I'm Combo Movie Film Productions, and this isn't the last DC film to review, because justice needs to be served.